safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
So just listen to this, because I've egged it so much that you might fear I've over-egged it, but I don't think I have. I think this is quite brilliant, and it was written in response to our clip, actually, about the weird dislike of Prince Harry and his wife and where it comes from. And a lot of people are unhappy with the observation that her ethnicity is one of the most obvious reasons to distinguish between her and other female members of the royal family. But so the Twitter account is called Royal Suitor, and as with so much online, I don't know what's real and what's not, but the byline on this is RS Lock. Pay attention. This is really important. It's only a 3-minute read, and I'll share it with you now, because I felt pennies dropping as never before when I read this. So we'll start at the top again. I might do my Jackanory voice for this. All right, I won't. Imagine a society founded on a class structure with the brackets white, close brackets, and the brackets are important, British royal family at the top as determined by birth and by blood, right? Don't have to imagine it, that's what we've got. It's not a matter of opinion, that's a matter of historical fact. A biracial woman enters the top of the pyramid by marriage, negating both the birth and blood requirements society had previously been told were preconditions. Because she lacks those prerequisites, she's considered unworthy. Because she's proud of her own heritage and regards herself as equal to others at the top of the pyramid, she's considered ungrateful. The town criers called out from the lower tiers of the pyramid, "I've never met her, but I look at her and I don't think I'd like you in real life," said one. "We Brits prefer true royalty to fashion royalty," proclaimed another. These are direct quotes from prominent columnists and commentators. Shouts of "she just doesn't speak our language" came whistling on the wind. But at the top of the pyramid, the cries were met with silence. So she's under attack in some fairly horrible ways, and they expected perhaps to get some support and protection from the boss, or even the brother. Were they too far away from it? Were they too disconcerted to know what to reply? Or did they use the cacophony from below to muffle the echo of their own whispers as they murmured the same things? The loudest gossip monger was impossible to ignore as he oafishly admonished her to go back to America. There was a brooch, I think, worn by one of the royals at an early meeting with the Duchess of Sussex, which I should double check the facts before I describe it. But have a look yourself. After years of being told that she was unworthy and ungrateful, the newlywed took the crier's advice and returned from whence she came. Despite one tattler's audacious cautions not to force her husband to, and she quotes again, "choose between you and us," he did in fact choose his wife, just as he did the day he married her, much to their chagrin. Ironically, though society spurned her placement at the top of the pyramid, when she leaves with her husband, for some, it calls into question whether the pyramid's peak is still something to aspire to. God, this is good. Whether those at the top are truly elite. Whether blood and birth really are prerequisites. Their departure is considered a rejection of the pyramid as a construct, thus a rejection of the society itself. For others, it was a necessary repudiation and confirmed that just as they suspected, she was NOCD, which translates as not our class, dear. And remember, the Duchess of Cambridge took an awful lot of jip for A, not being an aristocrat, and B, having a mother who had once worked as an air hostess. But she towed the line and fitted in. Final paragraph. Still, that wasn't enough. For society to maintain order, she must be reclassified and her elite status conferred by marriage removed. But the society is trapped in a conundrum. Her husband and their children are at the top of the pyramid by birth and by blood. Now, I'd remind you, this was written before today's announcements about patronages and honorary military appointments being removed from the Duke and Duchess. Her husband and their children are at the top of the pyramid by birth and by blood. Removing titles, military honours, and patronages won't remove her from the top of the pyramid. The only thing that will reclassify her is to remove her from her husband. And the society has been working diligently, though unsuccessfully, to that end since the day they learned that Harry and Meghan were a couple. Do you know, I don't even know the real identity of the person that wrote that, but it seems to me to be the most insightful, informed and plausible explanation of matters royal that I have ever read in my life. And while you won't be surprised to learn that I don't have a spare room full of royal biographies or royal histories, I do read the papers every day, and I try, for obvious reasons, to read stuff that I don't like and papers that I don't agree with. And I have never read anything even half as good as that. Partly because it makes absolutely perfect sense. Partly because it retrospectively explains so many things that I have been baffled and confused by. Indeed, it was inspired, that little piece, by the phone-in we did on Monday, asking what on earth is it that she's supposed to have done wrong? And partly because it's so prescient. Remember, this was written on Monday. Today is Friday. I don't think that qualifies as a scoop either while we're here. But that was written on Monday. Today is Friday. It has literally just been announced that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are to lose their honorary military appointments and royal patronages. And this was written 5 days ago. Removing titles, military honours and patronages won't remove her from the top of the pyramid. The only thing that will reclassify her is to remove her from her husband. And the society has been working diligently, though unsuccessfully, to that end since the day they learned that Harry and Meghan were a couple. I think, and obviously my natural immodesty pains me slightly to say this, I think that's among the most powerful words you've ever heard on this programme. It's absolute.
Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to Sussexful. I'm your host, Emma, and as always, it's such a pleasure to have you here, our amazing community that believes in truth, fairness, and seeing beyond the headlines. Today, we're diving into a moment that has truly shaken the internet. James O'Brien's heartfelt and brutally honest message about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, shared on LBC. His words have struck a chord with millions, sparking a wave of reactions, emotions, and conversations across social media. O'Brien didn't just comment, he challenged the narrative. He spoke about the relentless scrutiny the Sussexes face, the double standards in media coverage, and why so many people continue to misunderstand their story. And in doing so, he reminded everyone that compassion, not criticism, should guide how we speak about others, especially those in the public eye. We'll be breaking down what he said, why it resonated with so many, and what this means for Harry and Meghan's journey moving forward. And trust me, this is one discussion you'll want to hear until the very end. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, please make sure to like this video, leave us a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to Sussexful, the channel where we bring you balanced, insightful, and empowering stories about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Every like Every comment and every subscription helps us grow this community of fairness and truth-telling, and together we're rewriting the narrative around Harry and Meghan. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's explore James O'Brien's message about Harry and Meghan that's breaking the internet, and why it might just be one of the most important commentaries yet. In his characteristically measured and thoughtful manner, James O'Brien delivered a commentary on the ongoing saga surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that left many listeners spellbound. Rather than sensationalizing the situation or taking sides, O'Brien delved deep into the nuances of the couple's plight, highlighting the complex interplay of public scrutiny, personal struggles, and the challenges of navigating the unforgiving spotlight of the royal family. His words carried a rare combination of empathy, insight, and an unwavering commitment to objective analysis, challenging his audience to consider the human dimensions underlying the media frenzy. O'Brien's ability to cut through the noise and provide a balanced perspective on this highly polarized issue underscored his reputation as one of the most astute and respected voices in contemporary commentary. The outpouring of reactions to James O'Brien's remarks on LBC quickly reverberated across the internet, sparking a wave of viral engagement. Tweets, Facebook posts, and news articles exploded as people from all corners of the digital landscape weighed in with their own perspectives on the host's insightful and impactful commentary. The topic had clearly struck a chord, transcending the confines of the original broadcast and igniting a spirited public discourse that underscored the profound impact of O'Brien's words. This breakout into the wider internet conversation showcased the power of his analysis to captivate and inspire thoughtful dialogue on a national scale. James O'Brien's perspective on the situation surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was marked by a nuanced understanding and genuine empathy. Rather than simply taking sides or fueling the often vitriolic media frenzy, O'Brien approached the matter with a careful, balanced eye. He acknowledged the complex human dynamics at play, recognizing the valid concerns and emotions of both Harry and Meghan, as well as the relentless scrutiny they have faced from the press. In his thoughtful commentary, O'Brien offered a critique of the media's handling of the situation, highlighting the tendency towards sensationalism and the lack of meaningful engagement with the deeper societal and personal implications. His approach reflected a desire to move the discourse beyond the surface-level scandals and toward a more thoughtful, compassionate examination of the challenges confronting the royal couple. Meghan and Harry have faced an unrelenting barrage of scrutiny and criticism from the public since joining the royal family. The intense media spotlight, the rigid protocols, and the unspoken expectations of their elevated status have taken a heavy toll. Navigating this challenging landscape, they ultimately decided to step back from their royal duties, seeking a more private and autonomous life for themselves and their young family. This decision, though controversial, reflects their desire to forge their own path and find a balance between their public obligations and personal well-being. The relentless media scrutiny surrounding Harry and Meghan has undoubtedly taken a toll on their well-being. Sensationalized reporting, often driven by a thirst for salacious details, has, really amplified the couple's struggles and painted a distorted picture of their personal lives. This invasive coverage has not only disrupted their ability to live freely, but has also, honestly, made the emotional strain they face even worse, making it increasingly difficult for them to navigate the complexities of their situation with the privacy and dignity they deserve. Examining public discourse on Harry and Meghan, as the story of Prince Harry and Meghan's departure from the royal family continues to captivate the public, reactions have been decidedly divided. While some folks have condemned the couple's decision as an act of privilege and disrespect, Others have championed their bravery in standing up to the systemic racism and lack of understanding they faced. This discourse has really highlighted the critical importance of empathy and a willingness to examine one's own biases, since the complexities of this situation honestly defy simplistic judgments. It's a reminder that even the most high-profile of personal decisions are often rooted in deeply nuanced personal and societal factors that deserve careful, thoughtful consideration rather than knee-jerk reactions. The royal family's response, well, the royal household faced palpable tensions in the wake of Harry and Meghan's bombshell interview. Buckingham Palace issued a terse statement, acknowledging the concerning allegations and pledging to address them privately. However, the monarchy's attempts to quell the crisis proved halting and heavy-handed, which only further strained relations within the family. As the scandal reverberated across the globe, the implications for the future of the storied institution loomed large, with many folks questioning whether the crown could weather this latest storm unscathed. Lessons and reflections from all this. This powerful exchange has provided a poignant reminder of the need for greater compassion and kindness in our society. Beyond the specific details of Harry and Meghan's situation, it's highlighted the broader societal issues of mental health awareness and the challenges faced by those in the public eye. As we take a moment to reflect, it's clear that cultivating empathy and understanding must be a priority, both for individuals and for the institutions that shape our public discourse. Only by embracing these values can we hope to create a more just and humane world, where everyone is afforded the dignity and respect they deserve. The future for Harry and Meghan, well, as the spotlight continues to shine brightly on them, the public's fascination with their every move remains undiminished. Despite the intense scrutiny and ongoing debates, the couple appears determined to forge their own path, pursuing their passions and aspirations without being deterred by the relentless glare of the media. Their relationship, forged in the face of immense pressure, has only grown stronger, and they remain committed to nurturing their family and creating a future that is true to their values. While the world watches with bated breath, Harry and Meghan seem steadfast in their resolve to carve out a unique role for themselves, one that allows them to balance their public duties with their private lives and to use their platform to make a meaningful difference in the world.